Um, okay, so we will need to wrap up soon because we started a bit late. But let's talk about two more things. One, which is, it sounds like it's not that interesting, but it is, in many cases, recipe for success. Okay, let's talk a bit about the technologies behind the scenes. Okay, one of the things that we see that are a huge challenge is actually being able to track, first of all, to track the process that the lead goes through, to connect all the dots, to connect them to the CRM, okay, to make sure that we're actually able to attribute revenues to a meaningful marketing activity, okay? What are the things that, from your experience, that you've seen that work pretty well? What are the things that are completely doesn't worth the effort or money? In digital in general.
Well, we've implemented a marketing automation system about a year ago, HubSpot, and it's been a kind of a painful first 3 to 5 months. But we have done it all on our own, and we had great help from the company, from HubSpot. And today we do so much with it that we can't believe how we managed to do stuff without. So we have great insights into the buyer's journey on an individual level. So, and I use that a lot. When I get someone visiting my website or downloading something or just reading one of my posts, I like to, as a habit, just have that pop up, and I straight away go to that person's profile to see who they are. And I like to freak them out, and then I, ask them to connect on LinkedIn or Twitter, all in real time. I just like to know, really try to feel the people that are visiting me and what are they looking at, what are they looking for, and learn not as a robot, but as a human being that is trying to track in real time what people are doing. So I do that a lot with HubSpot. I use WordPress for blogging. I'm considering moving that to HubSpot as well because it's so convenient to have one system to do everything. So I use HubSpot also for social. All of my distribution of content is through HubSpot. I use, obviously, email marketing, workflows, automation rules. Today, I know that if certain people are visiting my website or blog and they're from certain companies, I'll mark them as competitors straight away because I know which companies they're coming from. So I do a lot of things automatically, and it really helps me with segmentation. So now I can do a lot more effective campaigns to my database without purchasing anything or spending money on leads or on clicks or anything like that, using my own information. So I became, I did spend a lot of money on that system, and I'm continuing to spend that yearly. But it saves me money on the long run because I need to do less advertising and less targeting outside, and I can do more segmentation and targeting inside my database, which is growing quite fast. So that, to me, marketing automation is the big change. Yeah, in the past year. Blogging and social is definitely a great tool, but it's easy to say as a buzzword and as a technique. What's more important is the content behind it. So you got to build a good content strategy before you start writing, before you open your WordPress or your Twitter channel. You really got to think about what you want to achieve with your content and what kind of content you want to write. What is your style? What is your tone? All that kind of stuff. So, and it's really important to stop there and do it properly.
I'll just share some of the stuff that we're doing also in-house because we have also a complex sale. We're not selling to mobile operators, but believe me, to get a company to invest in building a sales and marketing machine like the one we're offering, it is a process. We have to go through the marketing person that pushes it out, to the purchasing, to, in many cases, the CEO. And we try also to model our work as a model for our clients, because the first thing our clients ask us is, okay, so are you doing that? Are you just trying to sell something because it's good to sell as a marketing company, or are you actually eating your own dog food? What we're doing, first of all, we're still amazed to see, but there are companies, newsflash, that do not have a CRM. Okay, that's a key for everything. Even before we go to, when we talk with clients, we also have a marketing automation consultancy within our company. But when we go to a client, we first of all ask them, do you have a CRM? If they don't have a CRM, we say, don't pay us. First of all, buy a CRM, implement the relevant processes in the CRM for you to have the baseline. Without it, you just can't work. We're using also marketing automation. Marketing automation is transformative. In our view, it's a transformative technology. It's not just like buying, the guys from Octopus were here. They enable you to track leads from social. That's awesome. This is Daniel, the CEO of Octopus. So Octopus is a very important tool in the mix to be able to track leads from social. We have, of course, the guys who paid for your beer, the guys from Bright Info, that actually enable us to squeeze every drop of leads from all the incoming traffic. But if there is one technology that is transformative in the way that you market, is marketing automation. We're working with a company called Acton Software internally. I mean, this is the tool that we're using. And I can tell you that it completely changed the way that we look at marketing today. We're able to really understand the buyer journey, which is the number one source of data to be able to create the best content out there, to hit on the right lead on the right time. And it enables us, even though we're relatively a small company, to be able to process many leads in the right way, in the right time, at the right place. The fact that you are here is thanks to marketing automation, because thanks to marketing automation, we're able to manage to invite you in, to manage the registration, to be able to see what you're interested in. And that's a real transformative technology that I think that one of the things happening with marketing automation today in the market, too many companies looking at it as a general infrastructure. While the tools that are in there, the abilities, what you can do with them is huge. Of course, we use different platforms for blogging, and as we said, we're using Octopus for distribution. We're using Bright Info for conversion optimization. The secret for us was, until today, and we see it as a challenge in many of our clients, is to actually do the end-to-end tracking of leads, meaning to be able to say this lead came from that specific marketing activity, and they were nurtured by these specific marketing activities, and some of them were not a push, some of them were a pull. For example, this person read a blog post. They didn't open an email, which is something I can easily track. They didn't download a white paper, which is something I can easily track. They just read a blog post. For us, reading a blog post is a huge sign, because if they read a blog post, which is very bottom of the funnel consideration of marketing automation tools, I need to give them a call because I have a good offer for them, right? And this ability to do this, to analyze these implicit behaviors, is something that is not trivial. It requires a different way of thinking. The way that we see it, it's going back to the basics of marketing, really understanding the way that your customers think, and then based on that, understand how they search and how they read your content and why they read your content and why they read the specific types of content that they've read. So the tracking and the ability to say, this is how I generated those leads. This is how I managed to get them to, we didn't get them. This is how we managed to know that they're actually in a relevant phase in their life cycle, that I should call them and I should spend the time on a coffee. That was a huge change. And of course, connecting everything to Salesforce, that at the end of the day, Salesforce, by the way, as you all know, how many people here use Salesforce? Horrible system. But it is the only game in town. So managing that within Salesforce, that with a click we can see what is the value of each marketing activity. I think when we manage to do that, other things change in the way that we look at our own marketing, and we started just to offer the same thing for our clients, and some of them bought it, and it was interesting to see how they actually being able to use these tools, to work with it. Now, if you're thinking about marketing automation, buy whatever. You can buy Marketo. I mean, my condolences, but you can buy Marketo. You can buy HubSpot. That has its own plus and minuses. You can buy Acton. It has plus and minuses. Pardot has plus and minuses. But if there is one technology that you need to implement ASAP in order to make sure that you are in the game, is marketing automation, at least in my opinion.
I agree, but there's always a but with me. No, I think technology is the right way to go. I usually don't like to put all my eggs in one basket, so to speak, so I try to mix and match. I'm not saying I have 3 marketing automation systems. I have one, but I'm trying to spread it across the different digital channels. So marketing automation is one, and conversion optimization on the blogs and on the website is 2, and using all the social channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on, and then hopefully get stuff retweeted and so on. That's great. But two things that I found out throughout several years already of doing these. A, these things are not silos. They have to be connected. I'll say it again. They have to be connected. Because usually what happens is I get my marketing automation up, and the marketing automation guys are extremely happy because the system is up and running, and they don't really care what's happening on the blog platform because it's theirs. Marketo's working or whatever, Alakwa, Marketo, Acton, you name it. They're fine with it. Blog guys come up and run their blog platform running on WordPress or whatever, get all those fancy plugins in, and then they couldn't give a hoot about what's happening in Marketo and so on and so forth. So essentially what you need to do as a marketeer is you need to basically tie the dots between everyone to make sure it's one channel or one basically thread that goes throughout all these digital channels, and you're the one who's managing them, not they manage you. That's one. Second one is content. I'm pretty sure on this one I'm preaching to the choir, but hard sell type of content doesn't work on digital channels. Don't push your product. I can't probably say it enough. Don't ever push your product. Go on thought leadership items. Talk about curation, what's happening in the industry, give everyone insight. Build, first of all, the credentials that you're someone who's not there to sell them something. And then they'll, if you build it, they will come, so to speak. And once they're, every now and again, it's very subtly, in the subtle way, drop in something about your product. Once in a while, by the way, guys, we're going to be at this event exposing that type of project, launching this type of solution, whatever. Don't talk about your solution or product as a given all day. It's boring and they wouldn't care for it. That's it.
Again, I totally agree. So tying up all the dots is really essential. I would also like to take it to the content management system. My friends here touched upon content. Content is king, and website is its kingdom, I would say. So a good content management system. A good content management system can give you a very in-depth insight on what's going on your website. I come from a company from ClickSoftware. We truly believe in content. We generate tons of content, and we have lots of people contributing to generating content. And with content creation comes the question, how do you actually measure? So you have a campaign. The campaign is built out of blocks, and the blocks are content. Every specific content has its own route. And how do you link all that, and how do you tie all that up together? So you talked about Acton, and if you talk about the future of content management system and marketing automation, my vision is that these two worlds will have to kind of like combine someday. The content management system that we as a company implemented about a year ago, it was a huge project. So after we proved the company that digital actually works, we got a budget of a nice sum to change I call it the hard content management system that... No, I come from Microsoft and I hate SharePoint. You can go ahead and tell that I said it. But no, it wasn't SharePoint. I know it's on video. I don't mind. But really, it wasn't SharePoint. It was something really awful, but never mind. So Epi Server, for example, yeah, I don't know who bought who. It's Epi that bought Acton or Acton that bought Epi, but Acton bought Epi. So we are established on Epi for the content management system, and Marketo, WordPress for the blog, and really, this is a struggle, like to tie it all together. I didn't find a proper solution that ties the blog and the social into Marketo. They speak about social plugins. It's not working so well. You can quote me. We're struggling with that. Really, truly, it's a pain. It's a pain. It's a pain. No, if there's someone representing Marketo, please tell these guys we need some assistance here. So the minute that they will solve it, I think that we will be very happy. So tie it all together, make sure that you can understand what your content is doing. If you're investing in the right place, if the content you're generating actually provides value. Value, and we talked a lot about leads, but what about what the prospects actually need? What kind of content really interests them? How would you know if you don't track it down? How do you know if you don't have, let's say you don't have a content management system, you must have Google Analytics codes running across your site, so you'll have like a view on what's going on. Sorry? Of course. Someone needs to look at the reports. Like, someone needs to know how to work around the Google Analytics, and you need to have someone. Or ask me, or, really. It's the bread and butter of, people who work with digital. It's not that we sit at the office and think strategy all day. We actually, yes, put our hands into the data and crunch the data and, understand what the data means. Good luck. If you find a solution for, all the stuff that happens on your blog with Marketo, please let me know. I'll be the first to kind of jump and yay, it's happening. But 90% can be tied up together. Think about content management system. Before you think about marketing automation, I think that, you kind of need to have the basic, but have them all. The more, the merrier. We love data. We must love data. Marketing people, it's not just about innovations and crazy campaigns and, a beautiful graphics. It's about the data and what's working and what's not and the intelligence behind it, I think.